Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit.
Like you was going crazy in that month.
Yeah, I went crazy.
I'm not the same person.
New footage just dropped, and it puts Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane in a moment nobody saw coming. Look, we all knew tension was brewing between the OG and his former protege, but this clip, totally unexpected. Here's the rundown. The Lick. Mid-January 2026, Gucci Mane got hit. This went down in LA. Stolen? His wedding ring and watch. Multiple sources claim the people behind it were linked to Shiesty and his crew.
Gucci Mane was just robbed recently in, they say it was in LA. I know that, I don't know if you got to see the whole Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty beef that's been going on.
It all kicked off after a sit-down. Gucci and Pooh met in LA to talk Shiesty's contract with 1017 Records. Shiesty wanted out. Gucci wasn't feeling it. The meeting wrapped, but minutes later, word is, a squad rolled up on Gucci.
He was just robbed for his wedding ring and his watch. And they say Pooh Shiesty might allegedly have something to do with it, but they're not sure. But apparently him and Pooh Shiesty had a meeting in LA, and the meeting was over Pooh Shiesty trying to get off the 1017 label.
Here's how it allegedly went down. Shiesty shows up deep with his crew. Contract talk heats up fast. He pressures Gucci to sign release papers. Gucci signs. Shiesty and his people dip. Minutes later, another group swoops in, snatches the wedding ring, grabs the watch, and disappears.
Around for his wedding ring and his fucking watch. Losing his shit right the fuck now. I'm not saying what city he got robbed in or nothing like that.
The link between Shiesty and the guys who hit Gucci is still alleged. No footage of the actual robbery exists and no public police reports, but the timing? Suspicious. Meeting ends, Shiesty leaves, robbery happens immediately after. Bloggers and fans weren't buying it as coincidence. Tasha K even dropped claims that Gucci was allegedly held at gunpoint by Shiesty until he signed a release, freeing him from his Death Row Records 2.0 deal, a reference to the notorious label Suge Knight ran back in the 90s, infamous for aggressive tactics.
Of course, Gucci Mane's like, hell no. And apparently it was like one of those Vanilla Ice Suge Knight situations where Pooh Shiesty pretty much walked in there and was like, yo, look, you gonna sign this shit.
That Suge Knight comparison hit hard. Back in the early 90s, Suge allegedly used straight intimidation to secure contracts. Vanilla Ice over a balcony, legend says. Real or not, it became iconic. Sources say Shiesty's approach mirrored those old school tactics.
Apparently, Shiesty was with some people and they made him sign it over. And then after they left, they say within minutes, a group of alleged, some gangbangers rolled in there and relieved Gucci Mane of some jewelry.
The jewelry wasn't small change either. Wedding ring, $200K plus. The watch, a Patek Philippe worth over $300K. Some claim the total haul, including cash and other items, hit $2 to $3 million. Gucci had security with him, but Shiesty's crew came heavy. His team was outgunned. Publicly, cops weren't involved, yet the story spread like wildfire. Blogs, socials, hip-hop news outlets, timing, armed crew, the contract tension, it all added up. Some fans called it cap. Comments ranged from skepticism to disbelief. Nobody's robbing Gucci Mane, one wrote, implying he's too connected to get run up on. Others noted clout doesn't stop bullets. The incident, real or exaggerated, marked a total fracture between Gucci and Shiesty. A year earlier, Gucci had advocated for Shiesty's freedom. Now, sources say Shiesty either orchestrated or enabled a hit against him. The switch was total. Their bond was once built on mentorship, opportunity, and mutual benefit. Gucci didn't just sign Shiesty, he invested in him. Shiesty, born Lantrell Donald Williams Jr., came from Memphis with a style blending crunk and the trap sound Gucci had pioneered. Gucci signed him in 2020, betting on raw talent with street credibility but no commercial track record. The gamble paid off. Back in Blood with Lil Durk went platinum. Shiesty's debut tape, Shiesty Season, got critical acclaim, and his signature ad-libs dominated socials. He wasn't just any 1017 artist, he was the face of the label's future. Gucci even gifted him a slime green Jeep Trackhawk, a symbol of 1017 and of their bond. Gucci's mentorship ran deep. He'd survived the streets, time, addiction, and emerged a mogul. Shiesty was the perfect protege, young, hungry, street-connected, authentic. Then the feds intervened. In 2020, Shiesty caught a Miami case, firearms, hotel robbery tied to a bad weed deal. By 2021, he was locked up on federal charges. Gucci didn't abandon him. He advocated for better treatment behind bars, using his platform to call out lockdown conditions and poor food. No legal obligation, no financial incentive, just loyalty. From 2021 to late 2025, Shiesty was in federal custody while the music world moved on. Publicly, Gucci stayed solid. No beef, no cryptic posts, no disputes. He praised Shiesty in interviews, expressing hope for his comeback. When Shiesty was released in October 2025, Gucci celebrated on socials. "Time to shake the streets up, effing proud of you." But the post was allegedly deleted shortly after. First sign the reunion wasn't smooth. Something went wrong immediately after his release. The fracture didn't appear overnight. It traces back to Big Scar's death, a pivotal moment exposing clashes over loyalty and respect within 1017. Big Scar, Alexander Woods, was Shiesty's cousin, Memphis-bred, signed to 1017 and close to the family. That bond predated any business deals and would later factor into the explosive fallout between Gucci and Shiesty.
He's actually Pooh Shiesty's little cousin. So him and Pooh Shiesty came up together. When Big Scar died, Gucci was supposed to pay for the funeral, which they said that he didn't.
Big Scar passed away from an overdose, and the loss hit everyone hard. But the circumstances sparked instant questions about responsibility. Gucci Mane, as the label boss, had expectations on how to handle it. Pooh Shiesty, as Scar's blood, expected certain moves where personal grief and professional duty collided. Friction brewed, impossible to smooth over. The main sticking point? Funeral expenses. Sources say Gucci was expected to cover Big Scar's funeral. Not unusual. Label bosses often handle these costs, especially when the artist is treated like family, not just business. 1017 Records has always leaned on loyalty and family vibes, but those values were suddenly under fire. The first stories online claimed Gucci refused to pay, painting him as cold, abandoning Scar's family in their time of need. The optics? Brutal. A wealthy label boss allegedly skipping a funeral for his late artist, who also happened to be the cousin of his top star.
And his wife posted receipts that he did pay for the funeral, but he also then asked for the chains back.
The real picture was more nuanced. Gucci's wife, Keisha Kaur, posted receipts proving they covered the funeral. Money-wise, Gucci handled business, but things didn't stop there. According to sources, Gucci asked for Big Scar's chains back, the 4 chains he had blessed Scar with while on the label. And in hip-hop, that's huge. Chains aren't just jewelry, they're symbols of respect, status, and belonging. Asking for them back after Scar's death sent the wrong message, that 1017 family ties were just business, that recognition could be reclaimed after death. For Shiesty and his family, that was a deep cut.
So a whole online beef, a whole online orchestra, and Shiesty, I guess, just wasn't really feeling the way he went about it.
Shiesty's reaction became the spark for everything that followed. Locked up when Scar died, he learned of Gucci's moves through intermediaries and secondhand reports. Every snippet, true or twisted, shaped how he saw his label boss. What could have been a private dispute turned public. Comments, posts, screenshots, blogs. Pride and reputation made backing down impossible. The contract situation added another layer. When Shiesty signed with 1017 in 2020, he was an unknown Memphis rapper, talented, street-connected, but unproven commercially. Gucci invested heavily, advances, production, marketing, distribution, betting Shiesty would move units. Contracts favored the label, as usual, but once Back in Blood blew up and Shiesty's season exceeded expectations, the deal started feeling like a trap. Shiesty was pulling big revenue, but 1017 was taking the lion's share. Classic label tension. Gucci himself had lived it as an artist. He knew what it felt like to generate wealth under restrictive terms. Shiesty's 2021 to 2025 incarceration made it worse. While he couldn't record, tour, or capitalize, his contract didn't pause. Upon release, he publicly aired grievances about blocked music and label betrayal. Whether intentional or not, 1017 controlled what he could drop. Meanwhile, rival labels circled. Yo Gotti CMG in Memphis offered a potential home, a return to his roots, and a fresh start.
Also saying that Shiesty's trying to sign a Yo Gotti, there's a $10 million deal that's already...
The reported $10 million CMG deal could have changed everything, but Shiesty couldn't take it while bound to 1017. Gucci held the keys and wasn't about to release his top asset. Business, but personal when you're on the other side. Gucci's history with Yo Gotti complicated things. He had protected Shiesty from Memphis beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. That protective cover was gone. Young Dolph was gone. Now, Gucci's refusal looked purely like keeping a valuable asset. The LA meeting that allegedly preceded the robbery was supposed to fix this. Shiesty wanted out. Gucci wanted to hold him. Negotiation failed. Gucci said no. Sources allege Shiesty then forced the issue. If Gucci wouldn't sign willingly, Shiesty's crew would ensure he did. Hence the Suge Knight comparisons, mirroring old-school violent business tactics. The aftermath? Strategic silence from both sides, loud speculation from everyone else. Gucci hasn't confirmed the robbery, but actions like deleting Shiesty's welcome post suggest something serious went down. Shiesty hasn't admitted involvement, but hasn't denied it either, focusing publicly on grievances with 1017, blocked music, and perceived betrayal. Legally, the situation is murky. No police reports, no arrests. Rumors surfaced that Keisha Kaur allegedly contacted Shiesty's parole officer about a kidnapping. If true, that could have risked his freedom. But Shiesty remains free, so either nothing happened or authorities saw no merit or investigations are ongoing.
I just had that conversation with somebody. I think that nigga would be in jail right the now, honestly. I think that nigga would be in jail right the now. Just because of the
homie in that clip pointed out the timing was too wild to ignore. If Shiesty had been directly involved in a robbery and kidnapping, parole rules mean he'd probably already be back behind bars. The fact that he's still free suggests either the allegations are blown up, he kept enough distance to claim deniability, or nobody officially filed a complaint. And it gets deeper. The Rolling 60s Crips allegedly had a hand in the hit. This wasn't just Shiesty and a couple of friends confronting Gucci. We're talking gang-affiliated players with their own motives, which turns what might have looked like a contract spat into something way more dangerous, spilling into street politics. Even more shocking, Hernandez Govin, the father of Young Dolph's accused killer, allegedly taunted Gucci online after the incident. That ties this alleged robbery into the broader Memphis street violence saga, showing it wasn't just about music, it was connected to deeper patterns of retaliation and survival in those streets. For the hip-hop industry, this hits hard. The 1017 Records model and labels like it relies on a certain mythology, the boss as mentor, protector, family, the artist as loyal member, shared success for everyone involved. Fans buy into that narrative. It attracts talent, encourages loyalty, and builds a compelling story. But here's the catch. The mythology always clashes with business realities. Labels profit first, artists second. Contracts that seemed fair at signing can feel like chains when the money flows. Gucci's shift from artist to label boss created a unique tension. He knew firsthand how it feels to get the short end of a deal. His public persona emphasizes redemption, growth, and treating people better than he was treated. But the allegations, asking for Big Scar's chains back, blocking Shiesty's music, refusing to release a valuable artist, challenged that persona. Meanwhile, Shiesty's perspective after prison was clear. Those years gave him time to reflect on what mattered, what he'd tolerate, and what he wouldn't.
Remember the moment when the breakthrough came, where you said, when I get out, I'm done with all this dumb shit? Was it a moment where you was going through it so much, or you got a revelation where you just like, this ain't it, man, I ain't with this shit.
Alarm clock came on,
yeah,
man.
Alarm clock.
I been knew that shit wasn't what's up though, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't for that, man. I'm a free world type of nigga like that, you know, ride fast cars, count money, put that shit on, you know?
The irony? Shiesty talked about leaving behind dumb gang even as rumors swirled that he allegedly orchestrated a robbery and forced Gucci to sign release papers. His stated goal of legitimate success clashed with methods that were anything but legitimate. That tension between who he said he wanted to be and what he allegedly did reflects a bigger truth in hip-hop. The culture demands authenticity, but that authenticity often includes street moves that contradict going straight. Gucci's own words about personal transformation hit differently in this light. He had talked about leaving violence behind and growing beyond the chaos of his early career, but could he really?
Wow, in them.
Yeah, he in there.
But do you feel as if though you're a totally different person?
I do. I feel like I done grown and matured. Like the person I was at 10 years ago, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the person I used to be, I'm nowhere near that. Like I'm way more mature.
Gucci, who described himself as transformed and optimistic, was allegedly robbed at gunpoint by someone he had mentored for years. Whether his claimed transformation was real or just a public persona, this tested it to the extreme. How do you respond to violence after claiming you've left it behind? How do you stay optimistic after a betrayal like this? No easy answers. The community is split. Some see Gucci as a mentor and shrewd businessman prioritizing his label. Others see Shiesty as a wronged artist taking extreme measures. Most likely, the truth sits somewhere in the middle. Gucci may have genuinely cared while enforcing his business interests, and Shiesty may have had valid grievances but allegedly chose dangerous methods. What do you think really went down? Drop your thoughts in the comments.